Are we actually here? Is there a stream? There's a fucking stream. Wow. Look at that. Yo. Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be working on fixing a MacBook. Want to make a little announcement here that we're going to be doing some change at the company, which is that we're going to draw straws every day, and whoever draws the short straw is going to have to fix a MacBook on camera. 1 second, I actually fucked my whole setup here, so I have this. I'm going to break the USB port on my power supply. I need to fix this. This is kind of stupid. Let's see if I can run this wire under here. Make my problem go away. That actually kind of almost does it. Yeah, that kind of almost does it. Alright. So we restart. I actually didn't hit the record button. It's been a while, so I'm a little rusty. Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on fixing a MacBook. I have an announcement to make. This week we are going to start drawing straws here at the store. And whoever draws the short straw is going to be doing a MacBook repair video. I haven't been doing them recently for a number of reasons I'm not going to be getting into in a public video. But I'm not going to be the one that does most of them. It's going to be a member of my staff. But so this might just be one of the last repair videos that you see me do. So we're going to get started. Hopefully this is a fixable one. This is an A1466 MacBook. It actually looks pretty clean on the inside. I can already see a straw poll fraud with that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we do is the same thing we do with every MacBook that we get in here. We are going to have the battery unplugged, which it already is. The battery unplugged. We are going to have the power supply software as well as the multimeter software show up on the screen. With any luck, we'll actually get the power supply to show up on the screen, but no guarantees, of course, when dealing with Paul Daniels software. And yeah, let's see. Ahem. By the way, Paul, if you're there, is there any way, somebody told me instead of referring to a /dev/TTY USB device, is there a way to refer to something static? Because every time I plug or unplug something, it winds up changing the number of the USB port, which is really kind of annoying. Like, for instance, I just unplugged my power supply and then plugged it back in, and it went from being /dev/TTY USB 2 to /dev/TTY USB 1. And stuff like that would make it a little bit more difficult if I want to have my staff members come in here. I'd really just like to have that device assigned to one effing port so that you don't have to search every single COM port. In Windows, the same COM port would be used even if I restarted the computer, unplugged stuff and plugged it back in. It would always choose the same one. But with Linux, it's a little weird. Like my power supply, which was TTY USB 2 just a minute or so ago, is now TTY USB 1 because I unplugged it and plugged it back in. So if anybody has a clue that would how to solve that, that would be great. Because that I know is going to drive the people here who work here up a wall and be an absolute and utter pain in the ass. All right, so what we're going to do, I got my power supply on. We're just going to do this and see how much amperage it's using. And it's taking 29 milliamps. 29 milliamps is a typical standard missing PM sleep S4O clusterfuck nightmare, which is a lovely way to start the day. So we're going to take a T5 screwdriver and see if we can figure it out. DJ Craze, I don't know. I don't really know, but I know that nobody watches them when I do them, so there's not a lot of learning going on at this point anyway. I'm really focusing more on the wiki as a means of teaching. Good to see you, Jim Hook. And thank you for submitting that John Deere U.S. PERG document to the Australian Right to Repair Commission. I really appreciate it. Again, if I submit it, they don't really care. But you're Australian, so they do. We're going to take everything out of here. And then we're going to make some meticulous measurements. Not normal measurements, meticulous measurements. My leg is killing me. I honestly don't even know if it was that smart that I came here. I wanted to balance my other EM3 EV bike battery. I've been putting it off for a while, and it uses 30 Q cells, so if you let it sit for too long, they just get destroyed. So I opened it up, and I have the two lowest cell banks that were at 2.1 and 2.6 volts charging on 2 independent power supplies at the store using little Cat 5 cables. And I also was going to do some upper body exercise, since obviously I'm going to be skipping leg day for the obvious reason that I almost destroyed my freaking legs. But I am going to be skipping, at least doing some upper body exercise so I don't get completely atrophied while I'm here. Yeah, I'm kind of debating whether to go to Nebraska on Thursday. I don't feel like it was a great idea to be here. I like to watch you repair stuff as I can't do it. I'm sure you can do stuff that I can't. I can't even drive a car. I guess it depends who you ask. If you ask the DMV, I can't drive a car, but I don't really care for their opinion much. Honestly, the entire experience of getting a driver's license is making me more libertarian. It's really interesting that of all the lessons you take and all the testing that you'd go through and all that shit is on roads at 15 to 20 miles an hour in New York. And for the highway, there's no test. There's no, they don't observe you driving on a highway. They don't teach you, they don't have you do lessons. None of the driving schools have you go on a highway, which is absolutely insane to me. So the part where I'm going 15 miles an hour in an easy environment, that's where we need to spend all of our time. But the part where you're going 70 to 90 miles an hour in a dangerous environment, you can figure that out on your own time. I always used to be one of those people that was, when I used to go to these libertarian meetup groups a few years back, I used to always go, okay, listen, you want to get rid of the DMV? Really, that's a bridge too far. Okay, don't get me wrong. I hate the DMV. Everybody hates the DMV. But come on, man. That's a bridge too far. That's a little crazy. You got to make sure that if people can drive these things, if you're going to give people 3,000 or 4,000 pound tanks and allow them to go, take their 4,000 pound tank and take it on the road at 80 miles an hour, you got to make sure they know what they're doing. And I'm this close to getting my license, and then I'm talking to him like, okay, so when do we get to go on the highway? And he goes, we don't do that. And I go, what? And I go, why not? And they go, well, we teach you to pass the test, and the test does not have you go on a highway. And I go, so how does the DMV know that I'm not going to crash into people on the highway? And he just kind of smirks at me, and he says, I don't know, honor system? I'm like, why are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Not even one go. Oh man, this is all horseshit. Anyway, think about it too much, I'll lose my mind. All right, so we got the board. So we're going to go over the stuff that we usually go over. Now remember, I got a green light in the charger, so my PP3before2_G3 hot's got to be present, so I'm not really worried about that too much. I'm gonna just check it just in case over. So we're going to do that. And as you can see, I got my 3.4. Next up, we're going to check our PP Bus G3 hot. Now, some of you may wonder, why do I check it on the left side instead of the right side? Yeah, you see that right there? You see that? Everybody in this industry, at some point in time, and don't you lie, wasted their effing time because they checked the PP Bus G3 hot fuse on the right side, not the left side that supplies the system. You've all done this at some point. I know it. I know my staff's done it. I know I've done it on stream. Everybody here at some point has done it. You check the PP Bus G3 hot fuse on your left, not on your right. The right is the side where PP Bus G3 hot is created. The left is the side where it goes to the system. You don't check voltage on a fuse on pin 1. You check it on pin 2. So if the fuse blew, that the power line is missing. So if we just take a look at the Paul Daniels board view software over here, we're going to open up a schematic for an 820-00165 board. I'm so glad that that happened because I'm rusty enough that it really wouldn't be too out of character for me to spend 2 hours hunting down why PB Bus is missing when it's not missing because I'm an idiot. But again, that has happened, and there are veterans of this channel that have seen me fucking do this before. So that is not, my idiocy is not lost on anyone. So I was checking for PP Bus G3 hot, one of the main power rails, and you can see over here you have pin 1 of the fuse, I got 8.5, and 2 of the fuse, you got 0. And again, when I have a no power situation, what I do is I just go to my list of power rails, which is usually on page 6 or 7, but with the newer machines, how the fuck am I even calling this newer? I'm kind of showing what not even a boomer, what a silent generation I'm becoming by calling a machine that came out in 2015 newer. Anyway, it's the pages with the power rails are on page 62 now. So it used to be the most important part of the schematic was in the beginning, and now because Apple, it's on page 62 or 63. Love it. Anyway, PP Bus G3 hot is one of the G3 hot rails. So the way this works is you have your G3 hot rails, always on. S5 rails, kind of always on too. S4, rails that are on when the machine is hibernating. S3, rails that are on when the machine is sleeping. SO, rails that are on when the computer's on. So a G3, it's kind of like a pyramid. So the G3 hot rails are, let's say, charge the battery. Regardless of what's going on, the battery is always going to be on. As long as it's plugged into the computer, the battery rail is always on because the battery is always on. S5, rails that the machine decides to make when the machine's off. S4, rails that the machine makes when it is hibernating. Let's say power to your keyboard so that when you hit the space bar or the enter key and it awakens you from your hibernation stage, the keyboard's on so that it knows to detect when you hit it so that you could awaken from hibernation. S3 rails for suspend. Let's say your RAM, because when you suspend or put your computer to sleep, you're saving everything to your RAM at that point, so your RAM needs to be powered. SO, stuff like your CPU or your screen or stuff like that, because in order for your CPU or your screen to be on, in order for your computer to be on and actually work, you need the CPU or the screen. Anyway, so that's the hierarchy of the rails. I checked my PP Bus G3 hot, and my fuse over here was blown, and we're just going to check that out over here. You can see that Paul Daniels' software put this thing on the screen because it thinks that I forgot how to use it. I did not forget how to use it. It forgot how to work. And over here you can see that this is the circuit that creates PP Bus G3 hot, the 8.5 volt rail from our 18 volt charger that is going to go over here to this fuse. Now I checked over here, and everybody at some point has done this shit. Everybody somewhere has done this. And this over here, pin 2, is where you should be measuring. Second pin of the fuse. And we got 0. So there's most likely a short, meaning that I, yet again, have the magic touch of figuring out how to pick the easiest board from the slot. Cherry picking is something that I am a fucking expert at. You know, this is something that Paul could never master. And as you can see, there is a short to ground that is pulling everything down. So at this point, you need to figure out what is causing your short to ground. So I am going to look at this board really sternly and try and figure out which capacitor is causing my problem. Now, let's see if I can see it. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's obvious to me. I'm going to look at it under the microscope a little. We're just going to go over the usual suspects that short to ground on our PP bus, that cause our PP bus to stop working. We're going to go over the usual crap. And see what looks bad. An easy air, classic Lewis. Yeah, indeed. I'm going to have Chris and Paul and them go over the ones that are difficult. Okay, so here we got some hints. See this over here? See this? That is a solder ball. So there's a solder ball there, and I can't even hold my tweezers straight enough to knock it out of the way. This is sad. Okay. Come on. So we got some solder balls over here, but the cap itself doesn't look too bad, and it also looks like that could just be shit factory production because it's on 2 capacitors, not just 1 capacitor. So I'm not going to call these solder balls that are flying out of the caps. I'm not going to say that that's because those caps died. I'm just going to, chalk that up to shitty Apple manufacturing as usual. By the way, have you heard that they want to make a car? Has anybody heard that this is the company that wants to produce automobiles? Oh my god. Oh damn. It's not even about whether or not I drive it that scares me. It's about whether other drivers in the road are going to be next to me with that fucking monstrosity. I wouldn't wish driving an Apple car on my worst enemy. That's just not that would be a horrible way to die. You know? I wouldn't wish an Apple car on Eugene. Anyway, so one of these usually blows, but that doesn't look blown. One of these usually blows, that doesn't look blown. And because the fuse is blown, I can't just put alcohol on the board. Usually what happens with this is the fuse won't blow. This fuse won't blow, but the board will put out a steady 250 milliamps it'll take from the charger. It'll draw a steady 250 milliamps and it'll go through the fuse. But here, yeah, I can't really tell visually which cap it is. And oh, look at this. Okay, what the hell is this? What the what was that? That's weird. So I'm going to inject some voltage into this board and see how everything goes. And we go from there. They were in talks with Hyundai loose lip sync ships. We'll see. By the way, I'm very excited because apparently the market is being moved billions and billions of dollars as a result of one of my favorite people, one of my favorite groups of people, a person familiar with the matter. I don't know how many of you follow stocks or any of this shit, but I've been looking at the CCIV and Lucid, Churchill Capital, Lucid Motors supposed merger. And one of the things that I have found really interesting is that it's just the amount of money, the amount of capital that can get allocated based on a fucking Bloomberg article that discusses people familiar with the matter. It blows my mind. Like, damn. I want to be able to do that. You know? People familiar with the matter say right to repair is passing, so, you might as well just get the schematics and board views and stuff out now, Apple, because, it's going to happen next week anyway, so you might as well just do it now to get out in front of it. Oh, really? Well, I don't believe that. Says who? People familiar with the matter. Oh, man, we're never going to beat them. That would be kind of funny. People familiar with the matter. Can always trust them. Okay, so I'm just setting up my power supply. Just give me a moment to set all this up. Okay, so what I do is I have my power supply, I set it to let 1 volt go through. I clip my ground to the ground of the board. And then I'm going to clip this little Cat 5 wire I have here to my PP Bus G3 hot. I'm waiting to get I want to get a tablet to carry around and show videos to people. What would you recommend? I don't know. I don't use a tablet. So I don't really know. I don't know. I don't use a tablet. I had a Nexus 7 back in 2013, but that was a long time ago. And it was actually a piece of shit tablet. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to get an iPad for obvious reasons. Okay, so we got our wire going to the board, and we're going to look for some heat. So let's see what we're putting out. All right. Looks like we're putting out 5 amps at 0.9 volts. So 5 amps at 0.9 volts, that's going to be 5 watts. So something should get hot pretty quickly. So I'm going to give it a second. I'm going to give it a second to get warm. And then I'm going to start feeling around, and we're going to do the owie test. Remember the owie test? All right, we're going to do the owie test. Okay. So was it anything over here? No. Yeah, this area of the board is fairly cool, which tells me that it has nothing to do with this area, which is where I saw those solder balls. So those solder balls had nothing to do with, these solder balls over here had nothing to do with my short and everything to do with just Apple's lovely manufacturing process of just having solder balls in random important spots near the CPU power circuitry on the board. And again, keep in mind, this company wants to produce motor vehicles. Devices that weigh 2,000 pounds that go on highways at 70 to 90 miles an hour. It's gonna be scary. It's gonna be scary. Everybody, by the way, we got repair royalty in the chat. Everybody, a nice round of applause for Mr. Paul S. Paul S. has made it. He's gonna be starring in these repair videos in the future, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. I will be officially retiring very soon. So I'm gonna feel around and see where I get an owie. Ow! Okay. We're close. There's ow, and then there's ow. So once you've gone from ow to ow, that's how you know you're closer to the location of the short. Okay, so can anybody tell which one it is? Wait a sec. Which one was it? Come on, something here burned me. Something here burned me. Stop, don't you hide. Is it this one? My finger is traumatized. Alright, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to remove the ground. I'm going to add a little bit more alcohol. I'm thinking it's this one, but that does not really burning me. I don't know if it's because I lost sensitivity in my finger or... Let me push on the cap harder. Huh. This is weird. I probably just lost sensitivity in my finger. Oh, so I think that's my food outside. So I'll be right back. Sorry for any static that you're probably going to hear as a result of me going outside the range of this wireless microphone. Yeah, that's definitely my food. Be right back. food. Joy. Food brings joy. Okay, so let's see if anything is obviously burned. You want me to just plug the ground back there? See, something is moving here, but I can't tell what it is. 5 watts should really be an easy find. There's something... I'm missing something stupid here. Yeah, we're gonna get some more. So this is the cap that keeps evaporating first, but it's not burning my finger. Alright, I'm going to take a chance. You know, I think I'm being trolled. A cap that's taking 5 watts should be burning my finger. 5 watts doesn't sound like a lot, but it's more than enough to burn the hell out of your finger. So this is weird. I don't really understand this, and I think that I may be being trolled. It's very likely that there's a short on the other side of the board. And I think it's on this side, and because I'm too lazy to lift the effing board over, I'm gonna waste my time here. But there's a good chance that this is not the cap. But I'm removing it because let's see what happens. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And our short's gone. Okay, that's really weird. So this cap was not getting hot. Except for that first time that it got hot. That really didn't make any sense. As you could see, the amp usage on the power supply went down to 0, which is how you know you found your short. Now we're just going to replace that capacitor and replace the bad People Bus G3 hot fuse and let it go. Again, if you find a blown fuse, you cannot, under any circumstances, assume that you can just replace the fuse and you're good. You got to figure out why that fuse blew to begin with. There's going to be a reason that it blew to begin with. My God, this was a simple board repair. With any luck, when Paul starts doing these videos and Anel or Camille start doing these, they are able to find these easy breezy ones too. Barely control my iron anymore. I know, Pedro, that should have been burning me. I don't have to turn off the power supply because I disconnected the ground. Alright. All sorts of stuff, Amar, just not board repair. that whole pad. Now, if you put too much solder, the cap is going to sit up far off the board, and that's what I'm looking to avoid here. And the shitty fuse gets the boot as well. All right. You should check anyway, coder. You should check anyway. Doesn't kill you to check. Your multimeter's already there for voltage. You might as well check home. He is Redmond Monk. He is. Right. Da-dee-da. Yoink. And correct, Avalon. Because I disconnected. And since I got rid of the PP bus fuse, I also deconnected positive as well. Alright, we have cleaned off the area. Let's add some solder over there and add a little bit of flux and a little bit of solder, and we are good. Alright. I'm doing a little bit of minor scraping of the pad because there's a little weird brown stuff over there. Don't want that in my joint. Okay. Now we find a donor that still has a PP bus fuse, which is actually more plentiful than I thought in my office. I wasn't expecting to see much of those, given how many PP bus fuses I get in contrast to Paul or everybody else here through the absolute and utter random nature of the selection process. But we found them. Sounds like a lovely product from Sony, the coder. Perfectly in place through the magic of surface tension. Also the magic of the steadiest hands in the MacBook repair business right here. Perfect job. Falls into place beautifully. Look at that. Look at that. Falls into place beautifully. It looks like stock, baby. Like stock. We have it dance a little bit. Dance, and up away we go. Yeah, stock. Steadiest hands in the business, bro. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to wait for it to cool off for a moment. We're going to cool it off using our Rapid Cool technology. Rapid Cool technology, we take the fume extractor, we take the board, like so, and you put it up like this. And in the time it'll take me to take my donor board and put it back in its bin, the board will cool itself off. And all right. Check it out. You're going to see in a moment that we're going to get that's 500 milliamps. The 500 milliamps of success. Bada bing. Works now, doesn't it? It's amazing when things work. That's 400 milliamps of beauty. Paul Daniels is here, just in time to not answer my question from the beginning of the stream. That's it for today. As always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. Now, it's time to eat some food before I do my exercise. Paul got here right as we finished. Paul Daniels timing. Hey, Paul, I got a question for you. So, you know when I use your software for the multimeter and the power supply, how I have to choose a USB device like, CSI 3005P/P, /dev /TTY USB 1 or TTY USB 2. Is there any way to have it where it's a static device instead of always changing? So like when I unplug the power supply and then I plug it back into the computer, it'll change from TTY USB 2 to /dev /TTY USB 1. And that drives me nuts because then I have to edit the command. I made shortcuts for all of this, and then I have to edit the shortcut and figure out which USB port it's on that time. And I'm kind of curious if there's a way to fix that, because that kind of drives me nuts. And I don't know if it was you or someone else in my comment section that said that is fixable, or how to fix that. I remember someone giving me some sort of advice on an alias I could use for that, and I don't remember if it was you or not. But it probably, I'm kind of curious if that was you. Because if it was you, then you'd have the answer. But if it was someone else, then I'm searching in Never Neverland. Paul Daniels gone. Or Paul Daniels. Because the thing is also, how would the software tell the difference between the multimeter and the power supply anyway? Like, I don't mind it, but I'm going to try to get other people here to do streaming, and I can just see them using this as a reason to say, like, I was going to stream, but I guess I can't because I can't figure out what the USB port. Like, I clicked the multimeter software and it didn't work, so I didn't do it. Kadi, you have to unplug the USB because this piece of shit power supply is controlled by the software. So I can't change the amperage or voltage settings on it without disconnecting it from the computer. Vladimir, what you just did there, you use the word just the same way that I use the word just when I say just run 30 jumpers to every single pin under the every single pad under the CD3215. That's adorable. God bless you, Mr. Barnes. Also, Paul, I don't think we ever finished our conversation the other day. hypothetically speaking, let's just make a hypothetical, right? Let's say that like 10 or 20K landed in your lap. How would you use that to make Flexboard View better? Or would you just spend it on cocaine? Just total hypothetically. Like I know what I would do to try and improve stuff that I'm trying to do if I had money, but I'm kind of curious what you would do. That's what I thought, Paul. Me too. Me too. It still is owie, Joseph, but the rest of my leg is kind of working. Before, the rest of my leg was totally fucked. Now it's just my groin. I don't need that part, though. I turned to watch Border Pair and all I see is a salad. Yeah, you're too late, man. Should have come when you first got the stream notification. Not clickbait, you're just late. Rewind, mofo. You missed it, car ram. You missed it, mofo. Pizza. Nah, I can't do pizza. I can't do carbs anymore. I'm too old. I've gotten to the age where eating carbs means gaining 20 to 30 pounds inside of a week or two. Same, I'm 20 though. Oh man. Lewis has a dining area greenhouse out front to eat his food. course the coder. It's going to have more people who are more capable of doing the repair stuff. Avocado isn't that much of my... No. I don't want to change the way I eat. Yeah, maybe that sounds like... maybe that makes me sound like a spoiled prick in modern day. I don't feel like changing the way I eat. I think that I've sacrificed enough throughout my teenage years and my 20s that if I feel like eating this instead of that, and this costs $2 more than that, I'll eat it. I spent enough years working for free, enough time staying up until 1 or 2 in the morning, enough time torturing myself, and I started treating myself like a human being. You know, for the last few months, I've been experimenting with this concept of work-life balance, where I actually work less than 8 hours a day. Less than 8 hours a day. And I have a lot of catching up to do. One of the things I've noticed is even if I were to not work for like the next 3 months, it really wouldn't actually do anything. I need to actually get the fuck out of here for a while. Like to truly decompress. My mind is not in the same place that it was back before I adopted this like hustle, work all the time, constantly grinding mentality. But I've had it for long enough that I don't particularly care. Like if I wanted to buy lunch at a Whole Foods, oh, okay, it's overpriced, but it tastes a teeny tiny bit better. Whatever, I don't care. Like, there's no point. There's no point to torturing yourself for long periods of time if you're not going to allow yourself to eat a fucking avocado, you know? Now, don't get me wrong. If you're in the minimum wage portion of your life, where I was a long time ago, or in the working for free portion of your life that I was in a long time ago, then you're eating out of the side of the, halal food truck for lunch for $2.50 and praying that what you're getting is the animal that they're advertising. But like at some point in time, the whole idea that like the avocado is or the guacamole is a bourgeoisie vegetable or something, like once you've done enough years of like of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hour, 13-hour work days, stress constantly, just give yourself the fucking avocado. Just go to Whole Foods and be guilt-free. Because if you're not working hard, but you're saving your money there, that's one thing. But if you're gonna work balls to the wall, just buy the avocado. It's okay. Hipsters like avocados, but you don't have to be a hipster to like the avocado. You can just enjoy it. You can just enjoy it. Burned out. Now, burnout is when you actually fail as a business because you're incapable of tolerating the stress anymore. Burnout is when you're not actually able to do the work that you need to be able to do. And luckily, I have avoided that entirely. I've had days where I wasn't as happy as others, but realistically speaking, I have avoided the... Because you can tell when a business owner gets burned out. You can just see it in their reviews where they used to have all 5-star, 5-star, one, like the real ones, not the BS ones. And I've managed to avoid that, and I take that as and I appreciate that very much. I've been lucky with it, but yeah, I'm. Is that a 1466 from Colorado? No, that's a walk-in customer from I think yesterday. You are an epic Jesus. What? I can't even tell if that's an insult or a compliment. God bless YouTube comment sections. God bless Paul for dealing with this later. The halal sandwich truck. Listen, man, the halal food truck is not bad. The thing that's interesting in New York is the halal food truck on, like, here versus one block that way could be 50% more money for food that's shittier. I'm not sure how they choose where to put their spot. Is it rock, paper, scissors? Is it a sword fight? Does the city assign it as a permit? I just shipped mine to you. That's why I asked. Oh. If you give me a ticket number, I'll see if I can find yours in the store. But Tweety, I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Do we have any A1466s from Colorado? One way to find out. Maybe I'll stay to take a look at yours if it's here. Here, let's see. Can we find yours in the store? Let's see. This one is New York. This one is... Huh? Is this... Okay, this one's Colorado. But I don't know. What if this is like Cartman or Kyle's? There are lots of people from Colorado. Let's see. Which is this? Give me a hint. Give me another hint so I have an idea if this one's yours. Ticket number, maybe? Ticket number? Oh. Huh? My only issue is with halal food is the meat where they insist the animal has to be conscious when they kill it, like you can't knock it out with CO2 before you cut its throat. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. That's kind of weird. I'd rather be killed in my sleep, personally. I mean, obviously, I'd rather not be killed at all. I'm a happy guy. I'm a happy guy! Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. DJ Craze, the pricing doesn't change based on the difficulty of it at all, because there are so many machines that we spend hours on and get nowhere. So it's just a flat rate for service, like screen repair, keyboard repair, board repair, blah blah blah. All right, okay. Here we go. I found yours. This one. Okay, let's read through the notes. Needs battery. Sound works in one channel no matter which speaker is assigned. The other channel has lower volume with scrambled audio. Ooh. Let's see. What did Camille say? All right. It arrived here on Thursday the 18th. Camille has a... Do I do this one or do I leave it for Camille? Do I do this one or do I leave it for Camille? Do I do this one when Camille's notes make it obvious that it's going to be miserable, or do I leave it for Camille? Do I be a good employer or a mean employer? Good employer or mean employer? It's 9 p.m. on a Sunday. Maybe I'll ask him to stream it tomorrow. Sorry, man. I'm gonna clean up here, finish my food, go home, and I will see you all tomorrow. Sorry to disappoint you all. See you all later. Anyway. Work-life balance, baby. Work-life balance.